All right, Shalom. This is Harawan by Yasha Allah of the GMS Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. And Shalom to you, Akim and Agwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. And Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, man, last night, as soon as we got in from camp, I don't usually take my children out at night. I try to keep them in the house. But lately I've been, taking my little adventures at night, walks with me at night, maybe to the store or the Walmart or something like that at nighttime. And last night at the camp, Spirit just jumped on me. I just took my children and said, hey, put your sneakers on, go to the store with me. They were shocked, right? Then, so, mind you, the Most High, guides the footsteps of man. So with that in mind, as soon as we step out the door, they're looking up at the sky, they're seeing the stars. And as soon as we step out the door and almost to the car, this happens, we see a chariot. But it's been about 3 times in my life I seen one fly real low, well, about 4 times, real low, come down out the sky real low and go back up into the sky. But this one right here was like interacting with us, came down low. And I never saw one this low before. And I was telling my children, I'm like, if the Lord wanted to take us right now, he could. He would take their little brother and their mother as well, if it's the Father's will, if it's his will, Yahweh Ratazah. But I just let them know, like, it's nothing stopping the Most High from taking somebody. He's running things. But the thing is, he said, we got to wait here until it's time of salvation. That's the way he set it up. All right. Because nobody's going to be as perfect as, or as just as Enoch was until we really get up out of here, So, because we're not keeping the laws perfectly, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. So these things, that's what we got to wait until the end, till salvation day. But yeah, I want to share this with y'all, man. And I like to check the sky first. I don't just look at a star if it's sitting there and it's just flickering. You see some people say that's a chariot. It's not a chariot, man. It's a star. Or you see that same star gonna be there every night. It says what else? Or they'll see a plane. It's like an airplane blinking, or red or blue. You can see it. That's a plane. But this right here is clearly a chariot. It looks like a star. They almost look like they're floating through the air or swimming through the air. Like a slow flying bird at night. But this is like a star, it's bright. And this one was it was moving. So I had to. You're gonna see the screen go forward, and I'm trying to catch up with it because it was moving right over top of us, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video, and then I'm gonna hit a couple scriptures.
Are you following me or us? Or are you following me? Chariot, definitely a chariot. It's coming down now.
Sure. Yeah, it came down low. Yeah, kind of like right out.
Yeah, snap out of it. Flight rider tech twisted. Wow.
I got it on video.
Snap out of it.
Yeah, he watched over us, man. As soon as we came out the door, that joint right there over top of us.
Right there.
All right, this is a still shot of it up close, But the funny part is I've never been able to get them on video. I see chariots all the time. All right, ever since 1998. One came down over me and my friends up in Philadelphia. And they tell me the story to this day, and they grown ass men just like me. You know, one of one of them did 10 years in prison, and the day he got out, in 2008, I had become homeless on that same day. And he called me. I was like, "Hey man, I got your number from your mother." I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He like, I'm up in Philly." I'm like, "Hey, well, I just got out." And I'm like, "Shit, I just got out." I'm free to come up there and teach you, and teach other people. But anyway, when I got up to Philadelphia, he told me a story about when we were younger. And he said, "Hey man, you don't remember?" He was in front of his woman, so he would have been embarrassed and everything. You know what I mean? But he came out of nowhere. He said, "Yes, you keep talking about chariots, man, but you don't remember what happened to us? Me, you, and Shiz, a friend of mine at the time. You don't remember what happened? You don't remember us being in the schoolyard at night, and you don't remember us freezing up and shit, like being stuck, like frozen." And I remember them being stuck like that. Me looking at my friends, and their face was kind of stuck, but I wasn't. I was cool. And I remember seeing something up in the sky, but I can't remember what it was, man. But he remembers. He said it was a chariot, but he said at the time, it was, we called it a UFO because we didn't know, And that's when the Lord really called me in and started dealing with me. And he said that night we saw a chariot over top of us, and it froze us. And he said after that, he said I just took off running, and I ain't even come home that night. I slept on the subway in Philadelphia, and my whole life was just different, man. And I ended up in Florida, years later, a couple years later. It's shit deep, man. But now, uh, dealing with the times we in with Iran and Russia and the thing being so close, and the brothers, sisters waking up around the four corners of the earth, people pushing this truth continuously. The work is being done. These are signs that we're almost out of here. And that's what we would hope to see, that our children would see a chariot. The Most High so merciful. He allowed some of you brothers in the truth, for your children to know the truth, man. That's a blessing, for you to know the truth and for it to be passed down to your seed. That's a promise. He said to your seed, to them and their seed. you know. This is Psalms 102:24. I said, O my power, take me not away in the midst of my days. Thy years are throughout all generations. Of old, thou hast thou laid the foundation of the world, right? That just means the Lord, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, are eternal, Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, right? Of old, thou hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands. They shall perish, but thou shalt endure. Yea, all of them shall wax old like a garment, as a vesture shalt thou change them, and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall have no end, right? The Lord changeth not. He's the same every day. Thy children, the children of thy servants shall continue. All right, so the children of his servants, and that's our hope, that our children continue in this truth as well. And their seed shall be established before thee. So Daniel 7:26, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. This is Isaiah 11:4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And we represent the meek of the earth, right? And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins, man. So he's gonna be faithful to his servants, the ones he promised, and their children. And that's what we're praying for, man. You know, the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion shall and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. All right, because in the kingdom, your children, the toys are going to be animals. You know, and all the things that's upon the earth should be like toys to our children. All right, this is Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, right, because we know what time we in. You know, we're watching the prophecies. We know we're at the end due to the prophecies and the understanding and wisdom given to us to be able to understand the times that we enter, see the signs, and measure the time diligently in itself. So, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. You know, awake out of sleep. So our people are still asleep. And if they sleep, then they remain in the congregation of the dead. They're sleeping with the dead to where they become dead themselves. All right. They become dead. They become dead to the call of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. They can't hear his voice. So, and dead to righteousness, and they living in sin. And they don't even see the chariot. There was people outside last night on their balconies and shit. And we out there yelling, it's a chariot, it's a chariot. And they have no idea. It is clueless. Clueless, man. So that's, you know, matter of fact, I'm gonna get another scripture after this. For now is our salvation nearer than we'll, Salakia. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we first believed. Okay, this is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times, look at the times again, and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of, see, we've been given a perfect understanding, perfect faith. We know perfectly that the day of Yahweh Shai so cometh as a thief in the night. So what a thief gonna show up unexpectedly, catch everybody off guard with people that have no idea because they're not being told. Well, they're being told, but they can't understand it. They can't comprehend it. Their ears have not received the message. Their eyes have they closed. All right, the Most High blind them because they're not his jewels. 2/3 of our people are his jewels, but they're gonna come back in the kingdom as children. They're gonna die on this side as sheep led to the slaughter. You know, but the hopeful elect, we are his jewels, and he polishing us. You know, his jewelry, polishing us, man. All right. And when he shows up to collect, so it says coming as a what? As a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, and that's what these nations are pushing out there, peace and safety. But in the midst of that, you have wars and rumors of wars. But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child. So like a woman is walking around pregnant, and that baby want to be pushed out, and next thing you know, the contractions kick in. And then she goes into labor. That's how the time of Jacob's trouble gonna be. That's the time of Jacob's trouble is the contractions. You know, and then when all hell break loose, that's the baby's here. All right. It says, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Sheesh. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober, meaning circumspect. All right. So it says, "For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night." And that drunken is being drunken with the philosophies of this world. All right. Because the scriptures say, I'm not going to get it. It says they stagger, but not with strong drink. All right. They are drunken, but not with wine. So our people are drunk with the philosophies and the wine of this world, right? Spirituals. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunk in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, which is the laws and commandments, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. So keep that on your mind, your hope of salvation, man. You know, Malachi 3:1. Then they that feared Yahweh spake often one to another, and Yahweh hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him, that them that feared Yahweh and that thought upon his name. You know, so the prophets that spoke in the past one to another and teaching the people, the Lord had the angels monitor all of that and had their words documented and published in a book. You know, had what you call scribes. But the Lord had the angels record everything, you know, and also through the people, through the scribes, and write everything down. Just like today, we record everything on the internet, but the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning today. Right? The things that we're doing today are being recorded in the heavens. Now it says, verse 17, and they shall be mine. So we belong to him, saith Yahweh of hosts. In that day, when I make up my jewels, I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Then shall they return and discern between righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Yahweh and him that serveth him not. All right, so the Lord said in that day we're going to be judges sitting, the hopeful elect are going to be judges sitting upon thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel and judging these heathens. But he said he's going to spare his, he's making up his jewels. And what do jewels do? They act as what? As a prism to release a spectrum of light. And in this sense, the light, each one of us represents a jewel. That's why you have the ephod of Aaron, or at the end of Revelations, it speaks about the jewels, us being stones, right? And different characteristics of those stones, meaning being polished or renewed, refreshed, right? So if a stone is polished, you can manipulate the light that beams through it. And that's what we represent, a prism for wisdom to beam through into this world, or to our people. So we are his jewels, literally, and he's perfecting that light that's being beamed through us, or that truth, or that wisdom. And yes, you do have real light out there. I ain't changed from that. Yeah, there's light out there in the heavens. There's light in the damn sky, light in the light above. But I'm talking about light of wisdom. Two different things, but both exist. All right, I'm trying to breeze through this real quick. This is Psalms 91 and 1. It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And that secret place is what? The scriptures. All right. They say, what? Keep your mind on me. Keep your mind on me. Remember that secret place I gave you. And so throughout your whole life, you remember and you keep your mind on your house shot. In every situation, you think about that. And you'll abide under the shadow of the Almighty, meaning under his covering. You know, the same way the Lord covered and protected Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah. Because the word Lot means what? Covering. All right. It says, I will say of Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. And that's what the hopeful elect are saying today. All right. And every man gonna give account for every word every idle word spoken. All right. And that's just it, man. And out of the mouth come a confession of the salvation. You know, that's where our testimony comes from. So if we're able to say that Yahweh is our refuge, that's mercy. The Lord blessed us to be able to do that in these times, to be able to call on him. He is my refuge and my fortress, right? Scriptures say, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous runneth into it and are safe. So we run to him for help and safety, not to America. All right. We got to make money and work, but I'm talking about the day of judgment and, you know, in your desperation or in your desire. Our desire is toward the kingdom, for the kingdom and for Yahweh Shai. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler. The fowler is Esau, and their snare is their new world order, their trap that they have set. Shit like the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, you know. And from the noisome pestilence, the missiles, you know, now it's going to kind of detail. He shall cover thee with his feathers. See, that's his covering. You have a covering being the blood and his truth, spirit of Yahushua, and the covering of exemption from judgment, the tawah, the mark, you know, the tawah of judgment, mark of exemption from judgment, and to be covered with what? The hope, faith, and all the things he told us to be covered with, the spirit of Yahushua, you know, putting on the full armor. Now, and he shall cover thee with his feathers. And now this ultimate covering is what? The angels. The way they covered us coming out of Egypt as a nation. And this time, the angels going to cover you individually, wherever you're at around the world. He said, he shall cover thee with his feathers, right? The feathers are the chariots, you know. And the actual, the feathers would be the actual angels. And under his wings, it says, and under his wings would be the actual chariot. Shalt thou trust? His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. That's going to be your faith and confidence in that day. And truth means what? Reality. And it's a reality that the chariots are going to show up. That's going to be your confidence in that day. You know? So the feathers would be the angels, because you have feathers can be individualized to being a feather, you know, the angel. Then you have the wings, which represent the actual army or fleet or the actual chariots. All right. But now, verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. That's your martial law, your civil war. And the arrow represents what? The missiles. That's the nuclear missiles that are going to be flying in the sky. We're not going to fear that. The scriptures say at destruction and famine, we're going to laugh. That's you and your children. You're going to laugh at destruction, you and your household. The same way the Lord protected Noah, the same way he protected Lot and all his household, and Noah and all his household. You know, he's going to do that with the hopeful elect and their households, man. All right. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, for the destruction, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Now, the pestilence that walketh in darkness, that's what? People invading your house, kicking in the doors. If you leave out to go get some food and you come back and they done robbed your house with your children and your family in it, that's what it's going to be like in that day. People invading one another, the wicked going to wax worse and worse. Murder and killing and stealing. Blindness, you know. Desperation, the same way they act at the damn Black Friday shit, where they ready to kill each other with toys and shit. That's how they gonna act around the world. It's gonna be like a fungus. You ever look at a fungus and the shit is just under a microscope and it's like all over the place, chaotic, you know? That's the way these people gonna be like funguses towards each other, trying to kill each other, invading each other, going door to door, gangs, squads of people, lynch mobs, who knows? Neighbors invading each other. You know, when you're kicking your door, you're knocking on your door, and they ready to come in and kill you and your family for some food or to eat you. You don't know what's going to be like in that day. Neither do I. We have a glimpse through the scriptures. So the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. So at the climax of the war, the World War III, once it gets to that climax, that high point, that's when the missiles going to finish this place off. And the Lord going to sweep America with the besom of destruction. 1,000 shall fall at thy side. See, this is when the missiles hit, the hopeful elect going to be taking their children, you know, and the women that the Lord gives to the men, they're going to be taken up into the chariots right in the midst of the fire. The scripture said they're going to be pulled through the fire. You know, so we pulled through what? Adversity and affliction. And ultimately, in the midst, when the missiles hit, that's when we're going to be taken up to the chariots. The hopeful elect. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh to thee. And that's twofold. When the Lord raises you up, as King David, you know, makes you like a god in front of these people with spiritual power, he's going to do that before we leave, before salvation. He's going to raise up the hopeful elect and give them spiritual abilities, you know, to defend themselves and defend their family. Or an angel going to be guarding you. And then, before the missiles hit, that's when he's going to take you up to the chariots, give you a new body, and your children new bodies, and your women new bodies, and start you over. But the 2/3 going to have to perish. They're given over to Satan, you know, so that their spirit can be saved. Meaning, the Lord sent them over to the butcher, to the devil, to destroy their flesh, man. Gave them over to Satan. So when Yahushua shows up, he's going to destroy him. And that flesh got to perish. And they'll be given new bodies by being born through the hopeful elect's seed, flesh, that new flesh. All right. So it says, and that's twofold. So 1,000 gonna fall at your right hand, right, and 1,000 shall fall at that side, and 10,000. So you're gonna see a lot of death once that time of Jacob's trouble kick in, and all the way to the point where we out of here. You know, the hopeful elect is out of here and into the chariots. And when you're in the chariots, you're gonna look and see death all around upon the earth. Thousands of people falling, dying. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. And that's you heathens, and that's 2/3 of our people, and that's a cut on people like Vocab, Malone. Because this damn German Edomite, this germ, he keeps saying that anybody can be saved, but the scriptures say there's going to be some wicked people upon this earth. And who are they, Vocab? You know? Because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. All right, so we made him our protection. We asked him to be our covering, our refuge, our pavilion, our covering. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. And your dwelling is usually where your children are. So if you're running around like a migrant in that day, fleeing from different areas, wherever you are, you'll be covered. The blood will be upon you instead of being upon your doorpost as it was in Egypt. Whatever house you in, whatever box you in, whatever place you in, the Lord going to be protecting you, guiding you. If you're of the hopeful elect, and He's going to protect your children. All right. And even your woman, if that's on your spirit, if it's the Father's will. All right. For He shall give His angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. And the Lord could have already gave His angels charge over you. The scriptures say that angels of the Lord encampeth around them that fear the Lord. And be careful not to entertain strangers. Be careful to entertain strangers because some have entertained angels unawares. So the angels are all around us. But he's going to give a charge over you, like Secret Service, protecting you. Every move you make, that you don't stump your toe on the ground, that you don't fall upon this earth, basically. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion. So in that day of salvation, they're going to take up the hopeful elect, and you're going to have faith and confidence that you're not going to fall or to the ground. All right. So when we see the chariots and they show up and they really take the hopeful elect up, you're going to have faith like Elijah that you won't fall to the ground or stump your toe or fall upon this earth. Twofold, meaning in the midst of Civil War, World War III, and being taken up, we have trust in his hands to carry us, all the way through and deliver us into the kingdom. All right. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. All right, and I'm gonna stop there, but matter of fact, I can keep going. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder. The lion represents their mighty men, and the adders represents their witches. Their false prophets, their preachers, their Masons, Jesuits, and so on and so on. All you damn voodoo priests out there, all anybody that's dealing with darkness of spirituality or wisdom, they dealing with the darkness on the left-hand side. But then you have their military, which would be their lions, their young, youthful, strong men, their mighty men, or even the old. The young lion, which would be the young lions where the villages are. So that would represent the suburbs and the homes. And the dragon, that's in the sea, out in the ocean. So in land and sea, right? Shalt thou trample underfoot. So the Most High gonna give power to the hopeful elect to trample on everything upon this earth that's wicked. So that's why I say slay utterly, old and young, and also their seed is going to be erased off the damn earth. Spoken of in Obadiah in Psalms. Verse 14, because he have set his love upon me, and that's what we're doing. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he have known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. So the time of Jacob's trouble, the Lord going to hear you. He's going to hear your children, and he's going to raise you up and bless you with those spiritual abilities. But you got to have the faith of King David. You got to have the faith of Yahushua, all right? And not be in a mistaking moment like Peter when he was walking on water, and Yahushua told him to keep looking up at him and keep walking out to him. Just keep on. And the moment he looked down, he got fearful and lost faith, lost that imagination, And so you got to keep your imagination, keep your dream of the kingdom and your desire towards the kingdom and towards spiritual abilities and protection. Because the same way the Lord raised up King David, Samson, Paul to be able to be bit by a snake and not be harmed, ravens to come feed Elijah, all these different miraculous things, and Yahushua doing miracles, and he said we're going to do that and more and greater. Well, they did that all in this flesh that we have today. So he's able to do it again. All he had to do is give us this truth, the way he did in the book of Acts, through the Spirit first, and then power comes later. That's the proof, man. Be able to heal the dead, raise the dead, heal the sick, so on and so on. Call fire to come from the sky. This type of power he about to give us, man. In this society, when the midst of this shit, he said what? I will be with him in trouble, in the trouble. I will deliver him and honor him with long life will I satisfy him. See, this flesh that we have today, it wants to die. You can feel it. It has fear, doubt, all these different things. But the spirit is strong and willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh is always ready to perish. We're in a decaying state. If we don't eat, what happens? We die. If you don't rest, you're kind of dying. If you go up too high above the mountains, you begin to perish. You go too low down into the earth, your body starts to die. You go too deep into the water, you get crushed. So this body is waiting to die off. The only thing maintaining us is the Most High. He's maintaining some, reserving the wicked unto the dead judgment, and reserving the righteous unto salvation. But in the kingdom, He's gonna give us bodies that are connected with the heavens, not with a lower state from the earth. They're gonna be connected to upliftment, to living, to eternity, to thriving, to reigning, to ruling, to righteousness. And that's the situation we're gonna have. He said He's gonna make everything more to our mind, more to our liking. And we're gonna be satisfied in the kingdom, man. Satisfied when we see righteousness upon the earth. If you desire that, then that's what you're gonna see someday. You'll be satisfied. All right, and show Him my salvation. So the Lord gonna show us His salvation. All right. Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations. And we're seeing that right now. Seeing all kind of different signs, and the sun turning black, what they call sunburst, all kind of different things happening with the sun, different shit happening with the moon. There was a blue moon last night. All right, that means the moon was real close to the earth and was real bright. All right, and it affects the tide and everything through its magnetic pull. But and then the stars, shooting stars, meteor, all kind of stuff, man. These are all signs that are given to us. And perplexity, right? And distress of nations. The sea and the waves roaring. Men's heart failing them for fear. And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And there's fear upon these people in this world. But the hopeful elect, they're going to be in the spirit of hope, the spirit of faith, which is confidence. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So in the time of trouble, in Jacob's trouble, the powers of heaven going to be shaken, and men's heart going to be failing them. But the hopeful elect, their heart's going to be what? They're going to have a sound mind, and be thinking upon the words that Yahweh Shai has told us through His scriptures and the instructions and wisdom that Yahweh Shai shared with us from Yahweh and through the prophets and through the scriptures. We're going to meditate on that. And meditate means to what? Focus, right? And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So when Yahushua shows up, He's going to be in His own chariot. And the scriptures already say that the angels going to show up and be in their chariots. And Yahushua going to send them out. And the angels going to gather the elect. And Yahushua going to be coming from the Middle East to meet up with the hopeful elect. And we'll be with them forever, be with Yahushua forever. But the angels are going to do the gathering, the reaping. All right. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up. So we start looking up now. We're looking up now because we're seeing a lot come to pass. But in that day, after the missiles hit, really look up then. Because that same chariot I saw tonight, I've been seeing my big portion of my life, and you brothers out there and apostles have seen chariots. You know, that could be the same chariot that the Most High has given commission to watch over you. Not just a flyby or pass by. Swing low, sweet chariot. That's what we pray. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry us home into paradise. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up. All right. The same way Zechariah was told to look up, and he looked up, and Ezekiel looked up and saw a whirlwind coming from the north. These are chariots, man. Clouds in the heavens, meaning covering, and fire by night, meaning it had lights that they called fire back then. You know, which light is fire, basically, you know, in a sense. But yeah, man. Then look up and lift up your heads, for your salvation draweth nigh.